can't really be anything you can imagine. But you can achieve anything that's reasonable. And what I mean by that is if you want to own a home and a car in a safe neighborhood, have some money set aside for retirement, go on vacation once a year. Folks, in this country, almost everyone can do it. Now, some have physical disabilities. They certainly can't. Some have mental disabilities. They certainly can't. Some things happen where no matter how hard you try, you've made the wrong choices, you've gotten the wrong breaks, and it just doesn't happen. Those things do happen to people. Those that are mentally and or physically challenged, of course, that just happens. And the others, that's just the luck of the draw. There's a handful of people who, no matter how hard they try, even though they are trying, they don't fail. They don't succeed. They just fail. Pardon me. It wasn't coffee. It was water. Too late for coffee. But for the most part, a free society with a free market economy that allows everyone to earn a living to match their desires, that's what we have. Doesn't mean everybody can be a multimillionaire. I'm saying to match your desires. And generally in this country, if you want more and you work harder and or longer, you can achieve more. That's just how it works. That's how a free market society works. Don't dispute this. This is one case where I'm not going to listen to you. I'm 100% right on this. Don't give me that baloney that, no, it's not true. The man keeps you down. The man doesn't keep you down. The man doesn't keep anybody down in this country. Now, there may be some obstacles that are in your place. Or there may be some obstacles that are in place that don't allow you to achieve what you want to achieve as quickly as you'd like to. Well, I've already tried 6 times. Okay, well, try 6 more. Then try 6 more again. Keep trying, you'll get there, okay? That's what a free society offers us. An opportunity to earn the money to do all that other stuff that I just talked about. Some people will live in a 1,500 square foot house. Some people will live in an 800 square foot house. Some people will live in a 12,000 square foot house. Some people will drive Chevrolets. Some people will drive Lamborghinis. Some people will fly first class to Bali. Some people will fly Southwest Airlines to Fort Walton Beach. Okay? But we will all achieve some form of affluence. Let's just say that, compared to others, okay? So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you live in the Western world, especially if you live in the United States, but anywhere in the Western world, really, you're basically living in the land of Oz. You're basically living in Xanadu. Until about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Then the pandemic hit. Now, remember one of the strong man's mantras, okay? One of the mantras that I've always said is when times are good, ride the wave. But when times are bad, just be patient because they will change. And normally I flip that because we're normally in good times. And I normally like to say when things are bad, be patient, they'll get better. But when times are good, ride the wave because they will get worse. Friends, about 3 weeks ago, the wave crashed. And it crashed hard. Gas is cheap, real cheap. What was it by my house? I think it was $1.56 a gallon is the last I saw. Yeah, gas is dirt cheap, but you can't go anywhere. You got to stay home, okay? And no one wants to get on an airplane. If we're all social distancing, to be within 6 feet of each other, we want to go into a can and breathe the same air as everybody else for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. No, nobody wants to do that. Nobody's getting in an airplane, no matter how cheap Southwest Airlines puts their stuff on sale. Nobody who doesn't have to, I should say, is getting on an airplane. In fact, all travel basically is done. Some people are still traveling for business. Truck drivers, of course, they have to get stuff from point A to point B. But for the most part, there's not a lot of business traveling going on. the wonderful food we have in this country, the great cuisines that you can go anywhere, anytime to get, well, restaurants are closed. Yeah, there's stuff that's available to go. I understand that, but that's really, in many cases, that's just not an option. And I'll give you an example. One of my favorite seafood restaurants. It's a regional chain, I guess. It's a chain, but there's not a ton of them. It's called Bristol. Okay, I think there's 2 in St. Louis. There may be a couple others other places. But it's an upscale fish restaurant. Okay, seafood restaurant. Very good food, and they're doing to-go orders. Okay, they had a sale. Their halibut special was on sale to go for $35. Now, I'm sorry. I'm not ordering $70 worth of takeout food, okay? Part of the reason to go to a gourmet restaurant is because it's served hot. You eat it hot. It's served in a nice place with a fine ambiance, with good silverware, with good service. And part of the thing with eating is what do I want to say? It's the whole, I can't think of the word. Should have had some more coffee, shouldn't I have? It's the experience, okay? It's the whole ambiance of going out to eat. Just part of the fun of going out to eat is the food. It's the anticipation. It's the looking over the menu. It's choosing the wine. It's being served. It's not having to mess with the dishes. It's having the food served hot in the right order. Your salad first, then your food, then perhaps the dessert. When it's all just stuck in a styrofoam clamshell and you take it home and you open it up and the hot stuff is warm and the cold stuff is cool, ain't the same. It's just not, okay? So that stuff is done for now. Stores are closed. Sure, you can get stuff online. But me personally, like clothes, I'm not buying clothes online. I want to put clothes on to see how they fit. And plus, if you need some now, there's no now. It's 2, 3, 4 days before you get your stuff. Things are busy. Social gatherings, more than 10 people, it's banned. You got to social distance. And social gatherings of more than 10 people, or 10 or more, I guess it is, banned. It's against the law. You can't do it. And that includes churches. Social people. That's what we are. We are social people. And we rely on others for entertainment. We rely on others for joy. But we also rely on others for support. That's gone. No hugs, no kisses, no pats on the back, no handshakes, no cheering to good health with your beer glasses. None of that. And especially today. It's Easter Sunday. There's no Mass for me. There's no church service for my Protestant friends. The Passover Seder for Jewish friends, it's non-existent. And even non-Christians, okay? Easter's a big deal for everybody. Yeah, you have the Easter bunny and the candy and the eggs and all that kind of stuff for the kids, even if you're not a Christian. Because a lot of people out there, the non-Christians, they troll Easter. They troll religious holidays. Not seen that this year, though. I'm not saying it's not out there. I'm saying I've not seen it. Everybody understands taking away the high holy day in the Christian church, in the Catholic church, that's a big deal. It's gone. Like I said, even the non-Christians understand this. Mass or church, if you're a Protestant, church services offer an opportunity to be with others, to offer praise, to offer thanks. The biggest, most important day in the church. In fact, the reason for the faith is Easter Sunday. And we can't go. Sure, you can watch it on television or listen to it on the radio or perhaps watch it streaming over the internet. You can do all that. And kudos to the priests and pastors who have made that possible for the congregations. But it's just not the same. It's just not. And our free market society is totally shut down for many. At least partially, or the majority of it is shut down for all. It's against the law for some people to earn a living. Think about that. To earn a living at their profession. Just think about that. Let that sink in for a while, please. It's against the law for some people to earn a living at their profession. If you're a waiter and that's how you earn a living, sorry, the government says you can't work. Let that sink in for a minute. If you work at a clothing store, maybe they've closed you. If you work in the hotel industry, they've laid you off. If you're an airline pilot, you're not flying. So all these freedoms that we have are gone, but it really doesn't matter because even if they were there, they've said you can't work. That's amazing, okay? Now, when all of this is over, and it will be, perhaps, just perhaps, we will not take this lifestyle that we have for granted. I hope that happens, because I think some of us do sometimes. Now, here's the big thing, and this is, I'm going to segue into this whole China thing with this statement. But please listen closely, because I don't want you to get the wrong idea by the statement I'm going to make. All of these freedoms, our lifestyle, our way of life, they've all been altered. They've all been changed. They've all been amended. They've all been turned upside down by the government. The government has said you can't go to church. The government has said you can't go to work. The government has said you have to social distance. The government has closed down the parks. The government has done all of that. Now, before you think that I'm going to go off the reservation, I'm not. I think it's a good thing that the government did all this. I don't think it's bad. I think it was necessary, okay? And what I mean by that is there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that are saying, well, this is just a start. They're going to keep this up. There's going to be another pandemic after this one. Then they're going to put the chip in your head. Except, no, stop it. All these freedoms were halted by the government, but it was for the right reason. The government did the right thing, okay? But they did it, okay? The government has implemented all this. We didn't do it on our own. The government did it. And again, I think it's the right thing to do. We decided as a society that this is what we wanted to do to battle the pandemic. And it's very finite and it will be over. But what if government decided to do this for other reasons, okay? Now, ours never would, in my opinion. And again, I don't like to use terms like never and always. But I truly believe that our government, nor do I truly believe that any government of any Western democracy would ever do this for anything other than the right reason, like to battle this pandemic. In fact, of all the major societies out there, I don't think any government would do it. While ours never would, some do. All the time. Now we segue into part 2 of the podcast, the China Syndrome. China is one country that does this stuff all the time. Okay? Now, I've been to China, okay? Let me tell you what you can do in China. The cans and the can'ts. What can you do in China? You can take a bullet train from the airport to Shanghai that goes about 200 miles an hour. Used to go faster than that, but it crashed, so they backed it off a little bit. It didn't stop soon enough, so a bunch of people died. So they backed it off some, but it's 200 miles an hour. It's an amazing vehicle, okay? In Shanghai, you can see the old and the new, the ancient Chinese, the colonial Chinese, and the new Chinese government way of life. Okay, beautiful streets, lots of things to do. Okay, the Chinese people are very caring, loving people. They have interesting customs that are different than yours and mine.